Hello, and a very warm welcome. This is a deep dive explainer from Revival Waves of Glory Ministries, and we're exploring the incredible work of Bill Vincent, Living in Multiplication. We're going to be unpacking a framework for moving from, just getting by to living a life of true God-given abundance. So let's jump right in.
It's a question that I think hits home for a lot of us, doesn't it? That quiet feeling deep down that there's got to be a bigger purpose, some kind of greater potential that's just beyond our grasp. Well, the work we're digging into today suggests that feeling is actually pointing you towards a plan that goes way beyond just daily survival and into a life of genuine, thriving abundance. So the core idea here is that this isn't just one single path. It's actually a journey between two totally distinct ways of experiencing God's favor in your life. We're going to unpack both of these dimensions so we can really understand that incredible shift from simply getting by to truly thriving. Okay, so here they are, the two big ideas. On one side, you have what's called addition. Think of this as the grace for daily sustenance, for survival. And on the other side, multiplication. This is the power for supernatural breakthrough, for thriving. To really get a handle on this journey, we have to start at the beginning with the foundation, addition. First things first, let's really look at this principle of addition, or as the book calls it, being added unto. For so many of us, this is the starting point in our faith. And let me tell you, it is an absolutely critical foundation for everything else that's to come. So what does added unto really mean? Well, it's all about God's faithful day in, day out provision. It's literally the daily bread that Jesus taught us to pray for. The food, the shelter, all the essentials we need just to live. It's God's sustaining grace in action every single day. And the biblical bedrock for this idea? It comes straight from Jesus' teaching in the book of Matthew. The promise here is so profound and it's so clear. When we align our lives with God's will, when we put His kingdom first, He promises that our material needs will be met. It's really a powerful call to trust Him. Now, living in this foundational stage, it's about so much more than just getting your needs met. This is where a daily covenant with God is built. It's a place that requires a kind of childlike faith, and it fosters this deep, genuine sense of gratitude, where you're constantly acknowledging that He is the source of everything. But, as the author makes really clear, this critical stage is the launchpad. It's not the final destination. So, if addition is the foundation, what's next? This is where things get really exciting, because now we get into the powerful concept of multiplication, that incredible shift from just having our needs met to experiencing supernatural breakthroughs. This scripture from 2 Peter is so important. Just look at the word that's used. It's not added, it's multiplied. That points to something so much bigger than daily provision. We're talking about an overflowing, an exponential increase of grace and peace that literally propels us into brand new realms of divine favor and purpose. To really get the difference, let's just think about it with some simple math. Addition gives you steady, reliable, and absolutely necessary growth. If you start with the number 2 and you just add 2 to it 10 times, you end up with 22, and that's good. It's solid, consistent progress. But what happens when you multiply that same number 2 by itself 10 times? Whoa, you get 2,048. The difference is just staggering, right? And that is the perfect illustration of what we're talking about, the shift from steady progress to exponential, supernatural growth in every single area of your life. Now, if this is already sparking something in you and you want to explore these principles more, you can always visit revivalwavesofgloryministries.com. But stick with me, because we're about to dig into how you can actually make this incredible shift in your own life. Okay, so that brings us to the big question, right? How do you do it? How do you actually make that shift from addition to the exponential power of multiplication? Well, according to this work, the path forward starts with a very specific kind of faith. And this isn't just faith for your daily needs. This is described as a confident assurance in promises for your future that you can't even see yet. It's a kind of belief that holds on tight even when everything you see around you seems to contradict it. And this kind of faith, it isn't passive. It's something that has to be actively cultivated. The framework here gives us these really practical steps: consistent prayer, really studying the Word, and vocally declaring God's promises over your life. But it also means surrounding yourself with a community of believers and taking real, tangible action. It's a process of turning passive belief into an active force. But here's the thing. Faith doesn't work in a vacuum. The next essential piece of this puzzle is embracing the idea that God has placed his own creative power inside of you. Yes, you. A really key concept here is the Hebrew word hayil. Now, it's often translated as wealth, but the true meaning is so much bigger, so much richer. It's talking about a holistic prosperity that, yes, includes resources, but also includes virtue and force and strength and ability. It's this powerful idea that God's blessing is meant to empower every single aspect of our lives. And the connection here is just profound. This ability to produce chale is directly tied to the fact that we are made in God's image. Think about it. Since he is the ultimate creator, that means we carry a spark of that very same creativity, the ability to innovate, to build, and to produce. So this is the fundamental shift in your mindset. That added unto stage, it positions us to humbly receive from God. But the multiplication stage, that empowers us to actively partner with God to achieve his purposes. You're moving from being a passive recipient of daily provision to becoming an active, vital participant in his kingdom work.
So what's the result of all this? What happens when we actually walk this path from addition to multiplication? Well, the outcome is a life of true abundance, and just as importantly, a life of significant kingdom impact that influences the world around us for the better.
So let's pull it all together. Living in multiplication really comes down to these daily commitments. It all starts with seeking his kingdom first. It's fueled by your active faith and tapping into that creative power, and it's sustained by a heart that's full of gratitude and a willingness to share your story with others. And as we start to wrap up, here's a question I really want you to think about. If you were to fully embrace this journey, to move from addition into multiplication, what area of your life, maybe it's your finances, your relationships, your impact, your creativity, what area is ready for a supernatural increase? For a much, much deeper exploration of these powerful truths and to get access to more resources that can help you on this journey, please be sure to visit revivalwavesofgloryministries.com. You can find the book there and connect further with the ministry. Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive. We really hope this breakdown of living in multiplication has given you a powerful new framework to think about. We'll see you next time.